If you're looking to get the latest updates from Microsoft 365, but don't want to spend hours sifting through the 100 or so announcements like me, stay tuned because in this episode I'm going to be covering all the latest updates, changes, and enhancements that you don't want to miss.
Hey guys, so just a quick reminder, I do supplement these videos with a blog post, so be sure to check that out in the video description after you're done watching this video. Getting started here, I'm going to start off with Microsoft Teams as we usually do. This first one here, something I thought was actually already in Teams, but kind of a laggard here, comparatively speaking to other tools like Zoom, where you can actually test your microphone and speaker before joining the meeting. So the user will see that now as an option and be able to do that here, as you can see within these screenshots. Timelines on this one's mid-May and be complete by late May. Next one here is for multilingual support in meetings. This is giving users the ability to auto-detect spoken languages and convert it automatically to the language of your choice. In this case, they're showing English here in the screenshot, and this will be in real time. Timelines on this one's mid-April, so by the time you're watching this, should be available in your ecosystem. Next one here is giving users the ability to honor the Windows Do Not Disturb setting on the OS layer versus Teams overriding that with the desktop application. And so you can actually set this by default. It's going to be off, but you can turn this on as well tier 2 within the settings. More information in my blog about this one. But timelines on this one's mid-May and be complete by late May. Next one here is related to the Queues app in Microsoft Teams. If you're not familiar with this, this is more for a separate application that you can use with Teams Phone users, and that allows you to have a queue system within your environment. And this is something, as you can see in the screenshot, they're going to bring to mobile for iOS and Android that users can now leverage as well too. This will happen mid-May, be complete by late May. Next one here is for quick access to read items while using an unread only mode. As you can see here in the screenshot, this is giving users the ability to see who read messages within a particular chat or group chat or something like that really quickly just by hovering over it versus having to click in and view that on an individual message layer. Timeline on this one is early May and be complete by mid-May. Next one here is giving users the ability to raise their hand or send reactions without reopening the full window if they've got a collapsed menu here, like you can see here in the screenshot. The timelines on this one's early May and be complete by mid-May. Next one here is, I think, a really cool one for meeting transcriptions and meetings themselves. So you have the option now to just transcribe versus transcribe and record. This is really important if you have something like Copilot bolted on as well too, where it's taking the meeting notes that you can use for intelligent summarization, things like that, but also not allowing you or not recording the screens of the users or their faces, things like that. So it's helpful for compliance reasons. Timelines on this one's early May and be complete by mid-May. Next one here is also related to compliance, but giving users the ability to delete meeting-generated content and recap. You can see that here in the right-hand corner of the screenshot here. And this is going to give you the ability to delete recordings, transcripts, or AI summaries or notes. From the meeting recap, again, you may want to delete a recording because it wasn't supposed to be recorded. Great example of that might be like a board meeting or something like that. Timelines on this one's late May and be complete by early June. Next one here is if you're using Teams Phone, they're bringing some new call transfer improvements here right in the nav in the toolbar here up at the top of the screen, like you can see in the screenshot. And this is just giving users the more ease of use in that transfer capability than there used to be. Timelines on this one's late June, be complete by late June, so roughly the same time frame. And then the very last one here for Teams is related to sharing recap access. And this is something that if you have Teams with Copilot, you do need a Copilot license for this one. You can actually share the intelligent meeting recap. This also could be available with Teams Premium. This is something where you can see the AI summaries and notes and all of that and share it with individual users. Timelines on this one is early June, be complete by late June, so around the same time frame there.
Guys, if you're manually performing Microsoft security assessments and manually performing the remediation that comes along with it, definitely check out a tool that I built called CloudCapsule. We perform a rapid scan of a Microsoft 365 tenant. It takes about 60 seconds to actually run and pull back over 200 data points that span Entra, Exchange, Teams, Defender, Purview, and more. Within the baseline section, we map to various compliance standards like CIS and NIST, and now we've introduced remediation capabilities so that within this context, you can actually push and deploy policies directly from within our portal. So in this particular case, we can actually push out a legacy authentication policy. We can actually choose the assignments that we have within this context to be able to deploy and get this into a passing state. We also have this concept of quick fixes for more of your standard low to no end user impact considerations that you can quickly deploy into tenants. And I can click on this button here and can see the end user impact immediately before I make that change and the setting that I'm going to apply as well. We also have this library section now as well too, where you have packages you can then deploy to your downstream customer environments. This might be workload activation in Microsoft, such as Defender for Business. If I click in here, I'll have all the policies I need to deploy to my customer environment. We also have packages like the Intune benchmark for Windows 11 from CIS. Finally, you can go in here and you can actually import policies that you would have as templates from any one of your downstream tenants. You don't need this concept of a golden tenant or anything like that. We'll actually source these and strip them down so they're templatized for you to be able to use. And within here, I can actually select any one of these policies that I want to import, and it will go in and actually strip those tenant-specific values. But remember any naming conventions I have for assignments to intelligently deploy them into my downstream tenants. So once this is done here, I can click on this import button. We have the same end user impact considerations, and now we also include those target group assignments that you could have and use as standard naming conventions for your downstream tenants. And when you go to deploy it to a different tenant, we actually will try to find and source those within that environment as well too for your assignments. So if this looks interesting and you want to give it a test drive, definitely head over to cloudcapsule.io and book a demo with us today.
Shifting into Microsoft Outlook here, the only announcement related to Outlook that I have for you guys today is related to mobile and is expanding the ability for you guys to have the parity with the desktop experience, the web experience, where if you decline, you can actually propose a new time, or if you're tentative as part of that. Previously, you could not do those options or have those options within mobile. Timelines on this one's mid-April and be complete by mid-May. Shifting into the 365 apps here, the first one's related to OneDrive. This is pretty minor, but I thought it was important just in case you get help desk tickets around this. But if you have files that are cloud only that are in your File Explorer, as an example, if you delete them, they will only be deleted in the cloud and not show up in the local recycle bin. So it's just a small, subtle change. It does make sense, from what you're looking at there. But if users are like, I deleted this item, I don't know where it is, I can't restore it, it's likely in the web recycle bin versus the local recycle bin. Timelines on this one's early May, be complete by late May. This is another one here for Microsoft 365 apps and the update channels. So they're unifying the semi-annual enterprise channel and the monthly enterprise channel for a single enterprise update channel. So they're just simplifying that a little bit. Nothing that you really need to do in this particular case. You just need to know that those two are going to be collapsing into the same channel output that you would have as far as your workload updates. Don't see a lot of people maneuvering into, the semi-annual enterprise channel as much, but it could affect you if you're watching this here. So that will happen July 14th within the Patch Tuesday update release. In a similar fashion with the 365 apps, they're adding more reporting and telemetry for health into the App Center here that you guys might be familiar with, but all reporting around failures is always good in my opinion. But this is giving you aggregated diagnostics and error messaging and update failures for managed devices that you would have, showing you exactly who is failing and why in this particular case. Timelines on this one is late May and be complete by late May, so around the same time frame there. And then with Microsoft Intune, as we shift into here, this was a big announcement, I thought. I've always had pain points around this, mostly because I'm also often using multiple organizations for testing, but it does now, or it will support. But they're basically going to be able to support multiple managed accounts for MAM-enabled apps like Teams or Outlook for iOS. So you'll be able to sign in with multiple managed caps and still use the app protection policies that would apply. Timelines on this one's early June, be complete by early July. Next one here is a specific CSP policy for removing the Copilot app off of the desktops here. So kind of a simplified approach to uninstall Copilot from the devices within the organization. Some of you may want to do this here just to limit the exposure of data in this way and avoid questions, honestly, from end users about using Copilot. The policy is available as of April 14th, so available. I've got documentation linked in my blog about this one too. If you guys want to check that out for organizations, you might want to push this too. Next one here is an extension off a previous announcement that I made either last month or the month before. I can't remember at this point, but moving to Windows backup from the enterprise state roaming traditional sense of how we were able to basically use these modern devices and redeploy and really not have to worry about loss of data in this particular case. So now they're going to transition fully into Windows backup for organizations. You can read more about that in my blog as part of this, but this is something that they're just going to shift. So if you're using enterprise state roaming today, you do need to be aware of this. And then the last one here for Intune I thought was important for GCC customers. Previously, they did not have availability for auto patch, but now it's going to be available as part of the GCC packages. And the expected date of launch is May 13th, so sometime next month here for that to become available, and you guys could start using that with those customers as well too, if you're managing any GCC clients. Shifting into Purview here, the only one I have for Purview is around this AI observability and insider risk management now generally available. I thought this was interesting because they're effectively saying we need to have governance not only over users, but we need to have governance over autonomous agents that are running tasks and performing various functions on your behalf versus having a human involved. But this is giving you more visibility into this and more control. It's going to be part of the E7 bundle or Agent 365 as part of this as well too. Timelines on this one's early May, be complete by late May. And shifting into Copilot here, this is something I talked about last week with Copilot Cowork. It's now available in Frontier. I'll link some documentation there on how to get that set up in my blog. But effectively, this is something if you enable yourself for the Frontier program, which is, for those of you not aware, the early access program for Copilot features. This is something that you can go and chat with and experiment. I've been playing around with it myself, and honestly, it's probably the best thing I've ever seen come out of Copilot. And granted, it's using Anthropic models, and it's using kind of a different approach to how we've traditionally seen Copilot work in the past. Definitely worth checking out, I think, in a POC-like fashion, maybe not production or enabling it for end users, because it can automatically make changes if you let it. But it is something that's interesting and is, like I said, probably one of the best features I've seen come from Copilot since its inception, honestly. Next, the feature update here is giving users the ability to create charts on pages using AI and natural language to describe what kind of chart they would want. You'll be able to select it here within SharePoint and then apply it and deploy it as far as a SharePoint page. Timelines on this one's mid-May and be complete by late May. Next one here is also for Copilot features specifically, and the updates that come from Copilot features. They're changing this obviously really fast, and that could cause disruption to users just based off of the rapid changes that they might have, or maybe overflow you with a bunch of questions, as an IT help desk person or managed service provider as part of this as well too. So they're allowing you to set settings to have deferred releases on the new updates as part of this. And they've built in some new cooler features like an MCP server that allows you to streamline getting those updated messages, things like that as well too, for a more targeted approach to getting this done. Timelines on this one's mid-April to late April, so by the time you're watching this, you should be able to see this within the admin center of any Microsoft portal that you're looking at. Next one here, we announced the Anthropic models being available in the Microsoft 365 Copilot app, and now they're extending those into the Word documents as well too. The only caveat to that as far as them being enabled by default is they're not set up by default in the EU, UK regions, and you can turn those on as part of that, but they're trying to respect the GDPR considerations there, and they're going to complete this rollout by late May. This next one here I thought was interesting, but when diving in a little bit more, it's a little bit underwhelming, but it's a calendar agent so that you can talk with natural language about your calendar, schedule meetings, things like that. I think it sounds cool in nature and so in the sense of like concept wise, but when you actually get in, what I found is actually I could be way faster if I just manually did this still. So it's one of those use cases. Is it really something that's giving you beneficial use? But still worth checking out, I think, for different types of people and different people that manage calendars on a broader scale than I do. But rollout of this one is going to end in early May. So likely by the time you're watching this one, you'll be able to access that as well too. Now this one I thought was actually really interesting. There's a whole video about this on my blog that I linked as well too. Specifically for legal professionals, it's a legal agent for Word, and it has a lot of really cool features. I did a whole Copilot for Notebooks video talking about how I could use that for lawyers. But in a similar vein here, this is something that they've baked in directly to Word that brings in all this contact across contracts, identifies risk, compares clauses to playbooks, things like that. So it's actually a pretty cool one here that I would definitely check out. And this is going to be in public preview in April as part of that Frontier program. Again, no timelines just yet on GA availability. And then the last one here for Copilot is around comprehensive metrics. For Copilot Analytics, this is getting a little bit deeper into showcasing exactly what features, individual users are leveraging within the various apps like Outlook and Word and so on and so forth. You can see that here in the screenshot with the counts of how many times they've used that. I honestly think Microsoft might be doing themselves a bit of a disservice with this one too, because it could expose that these users aren't using Copilot at all, which is what I've seen broadly speaking in most organizational rollouts. Timelines on this one though is late April and be complete by late May. And then the very last one here is related to the admin section. It's not often that I get to talk about price decreases, so win for that. But this is about Windows 365 Business. They're actually doing a 20% price decrease starting May 1st. So by the time you're watching this, should be out already. But they're going to do that to make them more cost effective for small to medium-sized businesses. So I like that. That's a good move.
Okay guys, that's everything I had for you today. Definitely comment below with any of the features you're most excited about. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next week.